Good morning, Sabira. Good morning, Susan. I just realized that I had this scheduled for 6 a.m. for some reason. That was just my error in clicking buttons. So it's going to be 9 a.m. unless something big changes. So if you do see it as a wrong time, chances are it's just that I didn't hit the right button. So there's a lot. It's not hard, but there's just a lot of little things you have to click and get the right place for it to work. But, so I hope you all had a nice Sunday and got something nice accomplished. I got my back porch cleaned off. We have a screen porch on the back of the house that we have a table and we eat out there a lot when the weather's nice, but over the winter it becomes a giant trash pile. Probably from about Christmas time on, we start just moving things out there to get rid of them. And then, of course, no one thinks about them until April or May, and we start thinking about cleaning it off. So it's not as bad of a job as everyone expects it will be. We set a timer and got everything done in an hour, which is pretty good. I'm a big believer in timers. I think every job can be broken down into chunks. And rather than try to do the whole thing at once, do an hour. Do an hour every weekend. We started that a little while ago with doing things in the yard and things in the house that we wouldn't try to do a lot during the week. I mean, now kind of we do, but before it just wasn't very feasible because we were out of the house a lot. But on the weekend, we usually oftentimes just one day, an hour or maybe 1 hour each day. You get a lot done. Surprisingly, you might think you wouldn't, but you really do because it adds up, right? It sort of compounds. And then I kind of do stuff over the week as well, just when I have time. And of course, now we have nothing but time. So lots of, in fact, so many options. It's hard to know which thing to do first. At least it is for me around here. So we're waiting till 5 past again, and then we'll get started. So sitting up here, relax the shoulders. Breathing in through the nose and back out through the nose. Notice if your chest and belly are rising with the breath. That will let you know that you're kind of relaxed through that central portion of the body. Let's do a little equal breathing. So we're inhaling for about as long as we're exhaling. Keep breathing. I'm going to bring hands together, doing our little intention for health and healing in the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And I'm going to move back a little bit. I'm just going to scoot back, see how far it is. Oh, it's not too far. And we're seated here. So, shoulders relaxed. Let's just let the head tip over to the right. And back. And let's do that again. Coming to the right. And the left. Back to center. Hang the head down. And then gazing up. Head drops back. And back to center. Let's walk the hands out in front, holding over And then fingertips pointing toward the body for this one. We're setting the hands a little behind you. Squeeze the shoulders together, gaze up. Coming back up to your seat. Arms wide. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands together. Inhale wide. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the palms. And let's flip the hands. Stretch a little bit. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lifting up. And lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. One more, lifting up. And then right arm down, reach across with the left. Switch sides. Coming back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And then forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall and then twisting. Back to center and switch sides. And back to your center. Tabletop. From here, let's move through cat-cow for a few sets. Lowering the belly, lift up the head, and then reversing direction. So we're lifting the body, pressing down with the hands, and just going as your breath guides you with this. And then let's sit back on the heels. Back up, tabletop. Right arm lifts. Bring it under, resting down on the shoulder. Coming back up. Right arm lifts. Switch sides. Left arm lifts high and then moving on the other side. Back up, left arm lifts high. And let's sit back into child's pose. Maybe bring the knees to the outer edges of the mat. See if you can maybe rest the forehead on the mat. Some of these poses feel so good, you kind of want to stay in them for 5 minutes, but we're not going to. We might do a yin class as time goes on, where we do hold the poses for much longer. It's a good class to do that. But today we're going to move on. So, tabletop downward dog. Bicycle it out. And then walk the feet up. In our fold here, and then rising up, standing tall, breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. And then lower down. Inhale, lifting halfway. Lower. Inhale, lift. And lower. Inhale, lift up. And lower. We're going to start lifting up again. Tabletop downward dog. Take one more breath and then bend the knees. Walk your way up to the hands. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift arms high. And back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lifting up. And lower. Inhale, lifting up. And lower. One more, either lifting up halfway, or you can come all the way up. Upward dog. And then moving to downward dog. And breathe. Walk the feet up to the hands. Be in your fold. Take a few breaths. And then rising up slowly. Standing tall, deep breath in and out. Standing up, top of the mat. Inhale, lift arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the left. Press down with both feet. Arms up overhead. Warrior one. Take another breath and then move to warrior two. Right arm extends out, left arm behind, shoulders relaxed. On an inhale, flip that right hand, then lift it up high, left arm by your side. Right knee is bent. One more breath here. And then we're bringing the right arm down to rest it here on the leg. Left shoulder back, left arm lifts. Side angle. Rising back up. Hold here for a breath. And then release your hands. Straighten the knee. Turn your feet. So we're facing the side of the mat. Ready for a fold. So you can keep hands at the waist. Take a breath. And then lean forward. Hands come down. You can rest them on the mat. Walk them back between whatever you feel like doing. Just breathe. So we want to have that sensation of being in the front part of the feet. The body weight is leaning forward. So the heels might actually just be very light. If we're leaning back on the heels, then the body's leaning back as well. And you can feel it, the difference, right? Just play around with that. You'll see how the emphasis is in different places, right? So this is what we're doing toward the front. And then hands back to the waist. Engage the thighs. Use that strength in the legs to lift you back up. Take a breath. So you may have the toes angled in a little bit. For some people, that helps with balance and it feels better. If that doesn't work for you, then don't do it. We're going to leave the hands at the waist, but we're going to slide them back. So they're more toward the back of the body. So the elbows come back as well. Deep breath in, and then lean forward. And back up. Release your hands. And we're going to turn. So facing front of the mat, right foot is out, left foot behind. Interlace the fingers, shoulders back. Take your breath. And then lean forward. Keep the hands behind. We're going to come up about halfway. Don't think about this too much, right? Just shift the weight into the right and lift up the left. And then set the foot down, back up, back foot, steps to the front, arms overhead, and back to mountain. Take a breath. And working on the other side. Arms overhead. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, right foot steps back. Press down. Arms overhead. Warrior one. One more breath, and then move to warrior two. Left arm extends out, right arm behind, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, we're flipping the left hand. Lift up high, right arm by your side. And then left arm down, rest it on the leg, pulling back the right shoulder, right arm lifts. Back up, just for a breath. And then hands down, we'll straighten the knee and turn. Again, facing side of the mat. And we're going to bring arms behind. So interlacing fingers, shoulders back, deep breath, lean forward. So you can always adjust this too by how wide the legs are. And then hands back to the waist, rising up. Take a breath. If you feel lightheaded, remember, hands up over your head will help. And then turning, so we're facing the front again. This time left leg is out, right leg behind. Interlace the fingers, deep breath in, fold forward. And then coming up halfway, keep the hands behind. Shift the weight here, and then we're lifting up the right leg. And then just set the foot back down. Bicycle out the legs a little. And stepping foot back up toward the front. We'll be in a fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting arms on the inhale. And exhale, back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. And let's work on some more balance. So tree, we can start with standing on the left. Right foot comes in. Wherever you feel steady, bring that focus to the center. Standing leg, nice and strong. And then set it down. Switch sides, standing on the right. Focus that gaze. And set the foot down, bicycle legs. Let's bring hands to the waist. And we're going to extend the right leg out. Lift it up. Set the foot down, switch, lifting left. And back down, bicycle out the legs. And then let's come into chair. So feet close together, knees and thighs pressed. Bend the knees, lift the arms, hands to center. And then just lift up the heels or the whole feet. Come on up and lower back down. Bicycle out the legs. Back up, top of the mat. Arms overhead. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Stretch a little. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. Downward dog. Inhale, come on forward to high plank. And then lower all the way down. Head turns right. Arms can be by your side. And come on back to center. Setting up for Cobra. We've got hands about chest height. Tops of the feet pressing down. We're going to start lifting up, head and chest. Over the hands. Lower down. Head turns left. And head back to center. Let's set up for Sphinx Pose. So we're going to come up, kind of propping yourself up on your elbows. Elbows are kind of shoulder width apart. Hands pressed down on the mat. And then as we're pressing down, kind of pulling the shoulders back. Gazing out. Tops of the feet kind of resting on the mat. If you feel some constriction in the lower back, Maybe bring the feet a little wider. And breathe. So a lot of times we're kind of rounding our shoulders in this, right? But we want to pull them back. And then just lower down. And let's bring the arms out in front. You can just bring one hand over the other and rest the forehead down. And then moving back up. Tabletop to child's pose. Back up, tabletop to downward dog. And then walk the feet up and come on down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together, sit up tall, fold forward. So if you feel like you have some play in the knees, sometimes the knees are up here, but we actually can come down a bit. It just isn't going there. So you can absolutely bring your hands. You could work on it with your elbows, just kind of give them a little push. If it is tight and it doesn't feel okay, then of course, don't do that. And then back up. Let's extend the legs long. Arms overhead, breath in, fold forward. Coming back up, let's bend the right knee. We're going to bring it to the outside of the left leg. Left hand on the knee, right arm behind. Sit up tall and then take your twist. Back to center, switch sides. Left hand behind, sit up tall, take a twist. And then back to center. Let's bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Scooting up a little, and then lowering back or rocking back. We're just going to rest on the mat for a couple of breaths. Maybe keep the knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. We can trace some circles with the knees. moving in one direction and then reversing. And then set knees down. We're going to bring right ankle on top of left knee. Either stay here and press that knee away, or bring the left thigh in towards the chest. Plug it in. This is another one where you can press against that right knee. You can use the elbow, kind of encourage a little more. And then set it down, switch. Got left knee, or left foot on the knee, and then right leg comes in. And then set the foot down. Ready for bridge here. We've got heels back, close to the body. Feet are about hip width apart, hands by the side, palms rest on the mat. And when you're ready, press down, lifting up. Take one more breath, and then lower. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. Take a few breaths. And then let's bring the knees together. Walk the feet to the outer edges of the mat. Goalpost arms or arms out to a T. Deep breath in. And then moving both knees over to the right, gazing left. Back to center, and then knees left, gazing right. Back to center. Let's hug the knees into the chest. And then extend the legs straight up into the air. And then when you're ready, lowering however you want to get there. And we're going to get comfortable on the mat for Shavasana. keep that breath moving through the body. It sounds like the trash man has moved on, so we can have a peaceful Shavasana. Focusing on the breath, the sensations in the body, the sounds in your room. And when we're focusing on these physical inputs, sounds and sensations, if you find that they are distracting you, that you start thinking about something to do with that, instead of just noticing, just move on, right? So if you start thinking about that pain in your knee, and then you start thinking about other things having to do with your knee or other things having to do with that, then just skip it, move on to it the next, right? We don't want to focus too deeply on any of these things. We're holding it all very lightly. So with yoga, I like to think of it as important, but not serious. Like, it's a very important part of your day, a part of your outlook on life. But it doesn't have to be so serious. It doesn't have to be so solemn. And um, it can be however you want it to be, right? Everyone's yoga will reflect their own personality, their own way of doing things. So there's no right way to be a yogi or to do yoga things. Um, that's one reason why that's great that there are so many different types of teachers and different types of classes, because different ones will appeal to different people. Um, and the one main thing that I remember from my training was that you can't be some other kind of teacher, just like you can't be some other type of person. Or you can't kid everybody, right? You certainly can't kid yourself. You might get away with it for a while, but it will wear on you. It will become a burden. So rather than be who you think you should be who you are. That's what yoga challenges us to do, to find out who we are, to embrace that, to know that that won't be everybody's cup of tea. Not everyone is going to find you charming or appealing. Um, that's okay. You probably won't like them either. So uh, be who you are. Don't be afraid of that. Um, we are, we like to think of, ourself in parts, good and bad. Um, but we really are just one. We're all just one thing, and we're all the same thing. We just express different parts of that, some more strongly than others, right? Some people rely on more aggressive ways of doing things. Other people aren't as out in front, but they get just as much done, maybe more. Um, you have to figure out what works for you. What is your style? What is um, what works for you, right? I mean, that's basically how it is. But be authentic. Be who you are. Don't be what other people tell you to be. Don't be what you think other people are doing. Comparison, as they say, is the thief of joy. So if you want to look at what you have, what you're doing, you will always find someone who is smarter, more skillful, wealthier, more successful, by whatever metric you wanted to value that. Right? But you'll also find people who are not doing as well. What does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. How do you feel? Do you feel like you've done your best? Are you trying your best? Or are you just phoning it in, right? If you are just phoning it in, you may have, you might want to step up your game a little bit. But if you are doing your best and you're happy with where you are, great. That's the best. Isn't that the best? A lot of times the people that you see who have so much are very dissatisfied. They want more. They're running a race that will never be won. So be at peace where you are. Don't let other people rob you of that. And again, it's entirely up to you whether that happens or not. I say rob you, but really you're the one that's robbing yourself. So we want to find some peace. And again, that is within our power. It is within our control and our control alone. Moving a bit now. Fingers and toes, hands and feet. As you feel ready, making your way up to a seat. We'll bring hands together. Deep breath in and out. Thank you for meeting with me today for some yoga this morning. And I hope you have a really great rest of the day. Namaste. Thank you for coming again on a Monday morning. I will, it looks like some people found us. Eventually, I'll try to make sure that I don't put 6 a.m. again, because that would be, if you see 6 a.m., you know there's something wrong. There's no way I want to do anything at 6 a.m. in the morning. So, but that's fine. If you ever do see that and you're not sure, just send me an email, or if you got my number, just text me and just say, hey, what did you do? It's wrong. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, have a good day, and I will be here tomorrow.